Rangers over the weekend, bringing the record to 48-41. They welcome in for a 4-game set the Diamondbacks, 44-46 on the year. Good pitching matchup tonight. Zach Gallen going for Arizona, while Yu Darvish finally making his season debut on the mound for the Padres tonight. The Padres are favored by minus 125 in this one. And the Nationals made headlines yesterday firing their GM and their manager. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres take 2 of 3 from the Rangers to start the homestand.
And a ground ball left side. And past the launching Seager around third. Here comes Bogarts. Throw the play. Safe and gets away from home.
While SDFC falls late to Houston. Well. Look who's back.
Mama. There goes that man.
It's Fletch with his triumphant return. How did that vacay go? We'll find out all about it on the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going. It is good to be back on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Good news is the studio is still standing. Good news is while I was gone, the Padres are in the exact same spot they were when I left. They went 5-5 over the 10 days that I was out. And the good news is this studio is still standing. So Big Rich and TD, the one day they filled in, they did not A, burn it down, or B, get the station absolutely kicked off the air.
Well, that's TBD.
It's good to be back. How was it?
It's good to see you, man. We missed you. I'm glad we're gonna get into your trip in a second. I'm excited to hear all about it. But yeah, we had a good time. We had a lot of guest hosts. Coach Quintera, Sliwa,
Power rank them.
Frankie, power rank him. Hey, we'll have them all call in and we'll power rank him to their face. Now, of course, Rich and Travis. I mean, the Fletch Zone, Fletch. That's the new name of the show.
I listened to about 5 minutes that day. That was the only 5 minutes I consumed. Not that I'm not a fan of Frankie V or you or Coach or Alan Sliwa.
It's okay.
But I was on vacation, and so I literally just happened to be sitting on the couch at my parents' house. Everyone was doing something else, and I got the notification that said Kevin Acee joins the Fletch Zone, FLESH, right now. And so I had to tune in, and immediately Kevin Acee's being asked about his boxers. There's sexual music playing in the background.
It was very sensual show.
What was going on?
By the way, so this is hand on a Bible, true story. So Travis in the morning sends me the graphic that I posted about the Fletch Zone of a guy just laying there. You can go back on San Diego Sports 760 X account and check it out. And I walked into our program director, Mary Ayala's office. I go, listen, will we get fired if we post this? And she goes, I don't think so. I'm not sure. So I was like,
she makes that decision.
She said, I was like, that's good enough. I think that's good enough to post. And listen, people seem to like it. So it was great. It was great having everyone on.
Well, the Fletch Zone, I think, is a better name for the show. Personally, I like to show a lot of flesh. Sammy likes to show a lot of flesh. So maybe we'll just rock with that.
Yeah, I like it. How was the trip though? We want to get a lowdown.
Trip was great, man. We spent the first couple nights in Tahoe, my old home away from home. Love that place. That lake water is just so freaking cold. It's almost impossible to get into. But we had a great time in Tahoe, and then I spent a bunch of time with the family back in Merced. My sister and her husband flew in, and then Kendall and I went down to San Luis Obispo, which is where we went to college. Spent a few nights there. But here's the problem with this trip, Sammy, is I went into it with the realization like, oh, this is way cheaper than Europe, which is what we had planned to do. And so we might as well go all out on dinners, on whatever we're doing, go all out. My bank account is hurting today because we went all the F out everywhere we went. I don't know who I think I am buying 4 bottles of wine from a winery, but I did that.
Hey, but you lived it, you know? There's nothing worse than going on a vacation on a budget. It's like, don't go.
Yeah, my brother did say when we're on vacation, money doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, when you get back from vacation, that money matters.
Those are later problems.
I know. It was Sunday Ben problems. And Sunday Ben yesterday looked at my credit card bill and I was like, what in the world did I do?
I saw you doing backflips off a boat.
I did a backflip off a pier. Yes, I did a big face plant while I was wake surfing. All that's on my Instagram account at Fletch Sports. Fun stuff though, man. It was a great trip. I'm glad to be back. It's glad to be back here with you. Great show this morning over on 101.5 KGB. And plenty of fun to get into today. So, I mean, I said it. Padres went exactly 5-5 while I was out. Sammy, what was the feeling in San Diego about the San Diego Padres over the last 10 days? Felt pretty up and down to me.
Yeah, it's the same. Like literally we're going to talk about it today. Every host we kind of had the same talk is, should they be buyers or sellers at the deadline? And this team's not really pushing in any way or the other, because if they're not making a good enough push to where you're like, yes, buy, go all in, let's try to win this thing. But they're also not just sucking to where you're like, all right, just sell everybody off, because it feels like, the Phillies series are not playing great ball. They played nice over the weekend. The walk-off Friday, then it was not a very good game on Saturday. Then last night, Tatis got to go on the offense. I know you were at that game.
Yeah, somehow I didn't even know we were going until about 30 minutes before first pitch.
Who hooked you up?
My wife, out of nowhere, was like, oh, hey, we're going to the Padres game tonight. I was like, you mean the game that starts in 30 minutes? We're going to that game? And she's like, yeah, our friends invited us. So I went to the Padres game last night, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, people, listen, text us, 70470, start your message with team. Give us your thoughts on the Padres. It's tough to get a read on this team right now. It's just, I don't know. It's every time you want to say they're out of it, but they're still right there.
I can promise you this. They are not sellers. I can feel pretty confident in saying that, unless something dramatic happens over the next 2 weeks.
See, I want to get in that a little bit, because I feel like.
But they might not be buyers either.
Holding, to me, is the worst thing this team could do.
I don't think I necessarily consider it holding, though, because think about what's happening today. It's like basically you added a frontline starting pitcher today. Yu Darvish is coming back. Think about what could happen in a month. Michael King comes back. So you got 2 starting pitchers, but you haven't had consistently to start the year. Michael King a little bit more so, but Yu Darvish, tonight's his first start. If this goes well with Yu Darvish coming back and he can slot in as a regular piece of the rotation, you basically added a starting pitcher at the trade deadline.
Yes. And with Michael King. So I hear that, but this team does have some issues. And this is a very telling series, because the stat that's been floating around the last couple of weeks is, I believe, I don't know over the weekend, but at one point they were 17-32, 18-32 against teams above 500. That was last week before the Rangers series. So they haven't been better against the upper competition. Now, this is an exciting opportunity for the Padres, because outside of, we're taking the Rockies out. Outside of the Giants, who they're 4-2 against.
Poor Rockies.
They struggle. They struggle with the Dodgers, and they struggle in a 3-game set against the Diamondbacks. You get an opportunity to change that over this 4-game stretch, and against a team that's fighting right with you for a wild card spot. If you could win this series, you could really bury the Diamondbacks. Or if you lose this series, it could spell bad news for the future.
Tyler on YouTube saying, welcome back. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for being here. We did miss you all. But right now we do the big 3. We do it every single day at the top of the show. And then halfway through the show, Sammy Long updates us on the top stories around the world of sports. Sammy? Oh, it feels good to say this. Smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
If you would like to stream the show, you can do so in a couple of different ways: on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us there. And Sammy, I put together the numbers, and with a little 10-day trip, I knocked 10 days off the NFL countdown clock, so we're down to 58 days, 11 hours, 51 minutes, and 5 seconds until the kickoff of the 2025-26 season. In fact, I got some Raiders thoughts I want to hit in hour number 2, if that's all right with you.
Oh, is it okay to talk NFL with me? Absolutely.
Yeah, but you don't like the Raiders too much.
I'll talk anything about
all right,
the NFL.
cool.
I don't care what it is.
Where are we starting with the big 3?
Real quick, just right there, we have we're a week away. Can you believe that, Fletch? Next Tuesday, camp's open, which is just brings a tear to my eye. But so we rarely start.
Even the one here in San Diego.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know we were going there this early in the show. So listen, we don't usually start with soccer, but we're going to start with soccer. So the U.S. men's national team, Gold Cup run, unfortunately lost to Mexico 2-1 last night. Got the early lead in the 4th minute with Chris Richards header going in. So they come up short in the Gold Cup, but it was kind of the B team for America. Fletch, I don't know how much of the Gold Cup you watched, but what would kind of be your overall vibe, considering this is the last competitive competition going into next year's Home Turf World Cup?
Okay, the Home Turf World Cup is interesting because the United States are in no matter what. They don't need to do anything. This was also the United States B team that was making this Gold Cup run. So first off, hats off. You made it, right? Secondly, find it a little interesting. Now, obviously, we're here in San Diego, right next to the Mexico border. But I was actually downtown yesterday watching this match, and the place was cheering quite loudly when things started to go against Team USA. Fascinating that in the United States, I think Mexico has the bigger fan base, at least here in San Diego. And I actually thought it was a pretty awesome environment to watch soccer in. and I had a great time doing it, but I did find it interesting that the bar that I was at was cheering much more loudly for Team Mexico than Team USA. I don't know that I have any point on that. I just found it interesting.
Well, Mexico, to Mexico's credit, have a very big fan base.
Huge.
It's kind of known that they travel super well, and everyone knew that it was going to be a very pro Mexican crowd there in Houston. Listen, this was the B team. We saw some young stars kind of pop up. Malik Tillman, Diego Luna in this. I know he didn't have a great game yesterday, but he had 2 goals against Guatemala, 1 against Costa Rica. So some of the young guys stepped up, and it's nice to see the fight because, again, Des wasn't there, Pulisic wasn't there, Adams was there, but Tim Weah wasn't there. So some of the big players for America are not there. Are we at the top of the World Cup favorites next year? But it was nice to see him have some fight, considering 2 weeks ago, this team was on like a 3-game losing streak. Everyone was out on them. They're like, this is embarrassing. It's pathetic. Next year in the World Cup, you got to get out of the group, and I think you got to at least win one playoff game and try to go away. Because
it might be tough.
It's going to be tough. But you got out of the group last time, and you got whooped up by the Netherlands.
I mean, I got the solution for Team USA. Add Milan Iloski to your team. Dude's tearing it up at the MLS right now. I actually saw a clip earlier that's saying if he keeps going at this pace, he's on SDFC. If you don't know, he just scores goals every single time he touches the ball. But I saw a clip that said if Milan Iloski keeps this up, what he's doing with MLS right now, he's going to be too good for MLS by the time his loan is done. So he's playing too good right now to be a part of SDFC.
We need him to slow down a little bit.
We need him to pump the brakes.
A shout out to the 2 weeks he's been on. SDFC's been unbelievable. I know they lost
number 1 in power rankings.
But this is like a legit team. Multiple months in the season, we're kind of done with the whole, they're just kind of a fluke the first couple weeks. No, they're legit. All right, let's hit NFL because we're going to Padres next segment. I'm going to read you the ESPN made a top 10 running backs list. Fletch, I want to hear if you have any problems with this. I'm going to read it. Is
anyone not named Saquon Barkley at the top?
Saquon is number 1.
Okay, good.
Someone ranked him 2.
Who?
They don't know. So, but they were debating that earlier with Jonas Knox on the herd about who put him. But anyway, Saquon's 1. Derrick Henry's 2, Jahmyr Gibbs is 3, Bijan Robinson 4, Christian McCaffrey 5, Josh Jacobs 6, Jonathan Taylor 7, James Cook 8, Joe Mixon 9, and Alvin Kamara 10. Do you have any problems with that list?
The one big problem I have is I think McCaffrey's probably a little too high on the list.
Really?
I do. Now, if you're getting the Christian McCaffrey from 2 years ago who won Offensive Player of the Year, then yeah, he should be maybe even higher than 5. But the fact of the matter is we have no idea what Christian McCaffrey is at this point in his career. He just had both legs have major issues last season. Is he going to be back to his former self, or is he going to be half of what he used to be? Because that's what I kind of think he is going into this season. Number 3 and number 2, it was Henry and Gibbs.
Henry was 2 and Gibbs is 3.
I saw a stat earlier today. Gibbs should be 2, I think, without a doubt in my mind. Because Jahmyr Gibbs in the 2024 NFL season, so last year, had a higher explosive run rate than anybody in football by a margin of like 7%. So the percentage of times he touches the ball, he's busting off more than 10-yard runs. Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute killer from everywhere on the field that can only really be rivaled by Saquon Barkley. Derrick Henry at this point, he's a five-yard running back. And if he can get out past that, yeah, he can turn on the wheels, but he's going to get you 5 every time, a little more reliable. But Jahmyr Gibbs does things we just don't see.
Totally. So McCaffrey is weird to rank at 5.
McCaff, because he has calf issues. Caffrey.
Because, like, if he's healthy, there's an argument that not 1, because Saquon deserves that right now, but there's an argument he's 2. Because McCaffrey, when he's on and he's healthy, is lethal and one of the best multi-use backs in all of, you have to account the pass catching ability there. Derrick Henry, yeah, you got to wonder, it's going to be interesting in fantasy drafts where you take him, because we are getting 31, 32 years old. You know that cliff of running backs. He played at Alabama, a program that is known for kind of a bruising history and don't last long in the pros. Bijan Robinson feels like he's a little bit ranked on what he could be, because what he's been up to. If you took on paper, Bijan Robinson is what you look for in a running back, but he hasn't quite lived up to it.
Well, mentally, he's not there yet. It hasn't seemed like he's ever been there. His body's great. Dude's got a great bod.
He's a sexy bod.
Crazy athletic. Whoa, what are you talking about sexy? I'm talking about muscles.
You said great bod. You said great
he's got a great bod.
I was piggybacking on what you said.
Sammy's talking about stuff in the bedroom. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, Bijan, he has all the capability of being a top 2 running back, but we haven't seen it yet. Jonathan Taylor, way too low on that for me, by the way.
Last thing before we get to break, we're going to talk about Darvish and the Padres coming up next. Brian Thomas Jr., should be on that list. I really feel like Brian Thomas Jr., what he was able to do last year with an offense that was young, rookie quarterback, even though they absolutely exploded, not a great offensive line. Brian Robinson Jr. is a really fun young player that I think could explode next year.
And just sharing snaps with Eckler last year. Is Eckler still on the Commanders?
I gotta check out. I believe he is.
I think he is too. All right, let's take a quick break. Darvish makes his triumphant return tonight. How's it going to go? Pitch limit. We'll give you all the info on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Traffic break coming to East 94 at Kelton due to pothole repair. Stall East 78 San Marcos Boulevard on the off-ramp. Right lane is closed. North 805 past East Palomar to Telegraph Canyon.
San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. And speaking of the iHeartRadio app, the iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, and many, many more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets now at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. And speaking of Las Vegas, pretty cool here. But Sammy Long, did you lock yourself down? A little deal with Circa Las Vegas?
We did.
Is that the official hotel of the Fletch Zone? Are we feeling okay with that?
Yes, it is the official hotel of the Fletch Zone. Your boy has an endorsement. And so
I love it.
I want everyone listening, please come around at 12:45. We have a special long shots presented by Circa Survivor and Circa Million. We're ecstatic to be in this.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. I've been there. I love the Circa. I had so much fun there when I went during the Aztecs football season last year. That's a great spot. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude.
Are you taking your inaugural journey over there soon?
Yes, we are. We're going to be chilling at the pool, watching sportsbook, having a little cocktail in our hand, playing. You're going to get in with me on Circa Survivor.
Love that. Yes. And also Circa, I'm going to be in Vegas in end of August. Maybe I know a guy who can have a room hookup now.
Did they talk to you?
No, you are the guy, Sammy. You're the guy.
Hell yeah, I am.
But I did see that Circa's also on that big stadium swim they have out there. They're doing some Love Island watch parties.
They are.
Which would be fun.
I wonder, dude, I gotta call Circa and say, listen, are we taking odds on Love Island watch parties?
Dude, we should.
Do you know the untapped potential that could be there if you're betting on Love Island?
Have you started to watch yet?
No, because too far behind.
God, it's so good.
It's still going on.
Still going on. Yeah, last time it was crazy.
When does it end?
I don't know the answer to that. I hope never. Like, I hope it just continues. Keep bringing in new bombshells.
Real quick, because wasn't the UK version first?
Yeah.
It was like a big deal over there.
Never watched it.
And then they brought it to America.
All I've seen are the last 2 seasons in America.
Okay.
And they've been great. So good.
I gotta check. I'm so far behind now. I'm like, I just gonna waste days away watching Love Island.
I think that's what you should do. And it's not a waste if you're having a good time, Sammy. Also not a waste. Yu Darvish is making his triumphant return tonight. Per Kevin AC, is going to be on about a 75 pitch count. Hopefully he gets to 75 without incident. Hopefully tonight goes well for Yu Darvish and he exits this game healthy. I think that's all you can really hope for at this point. Personally, not really concerned about runs. Does Yu Darvish get out there, look like Yu Darvish, get to 75 pitches, keep this thing somewhat respectable, and can the offense, who does seem to have a little bit of a resurgence over the last couple games, be able to have his back? Because tonight is not about Yu Darvish going out there and being an ace. It's not about Yu Darvish going out there and throwing a no-hitter. But it's about, can Yu Darvish, 38-year-old Yu Darvish, come back and be a productive member of this staff for the rest of the way? Because like Sammy and I were talking about at the beginning of the show, this trade deadline is going to be wonky. I don't know exactly what the Padres are going to do, but it doesn't feel like Superman's coming in to save the day. So you got to do it from within. And getting Yu Darvish back at this point, if you're getting actual Yu Darvish, feels like you're adding an arm at the trade deadline. So can Yu Darvish go out there tonight and show us that he can at least be a productive member of this staff the rest of the way? And whether that's a 2-pitcher or a 3-pitcher, I don't really care. Can you give us innings for the rest of this season? That's what the Padres should be concerned about going into tonight.
Well, and I like how they manage this with Schilt, because All-Star break, 2 weeks away, week and a half away. It's nice that you're giving him a little taste, probably going to make another start before the All-Star break, and then he's going to get a little rest. Because, as you mentioned, Fletch, the age is a real concern with Darvish. And we kept saying all season, if you look at the problems the Padres have, you'd like a couple more bats at the end of the lineup. The bullpen is not quite as good as it was. When healthy, the starting rotation is lethal. If King's there, and I know Cease has struggled, but Cease can get it together for a little playoff run. Pavetta's been exceptional. We all know Darvish was kind of the Dodger killer in the playoffs last year. I know he lost the Game 5, but that Game 5 certainly was not on him. It was on the offense. So we know that the pitching staff is intact. I'm going to be curious to see how they kind of manage this going forward. And hey, maybe getting a guy like Yu Darvish back is a real juice for the team. The bats did kind of improve over the weekend. It was nice to see Fernando hit that kind of liner down the left side, kind of broke the game open last night. So listen, you won a series 2-1. It's not to be too critical, but you would like to see them actually like sweep these series. It feels like every time the Padres are winning a series, they're winning it 2-1 or kind of barely. They're not just, kind of putting their foot on the gas, but this is a massive series. And Zach Gallen, there's a really good pitcher for Arizona. The weakness for the Diamondbacks, no bullpen. The bullpen is one of the worst in baseball. If the Diamondbacks actually had a bullpen, they'd actually be pretty lethal. Really good hitters. Marte's been exceptional. Carroll's been great. I think the key for this, we're all looking at Darvish tonight, but can the Padres hitters knock Gallen out of the game? Because if you make them get to their bullpen early, this could spell doom for the Diamondbacks. It'd be great for the Padres.
No, it's easy to get kind of doom and gloom on what the Padres rotation has been so far. I will say yesterday, I think you got some pretty good signs because David Morgan starts the game, first career start for the Padres, and struggles mightily in the first couple innings. Really great defensive play by Jake Cronenworth, kind of saved his ass, but he got knocked out of the game after 1 1/3 inning. And then Kyle Hart comes in and is perfect for 11 batters. Like, that's good to see, knowing that Kyle Hart, maybe if he's not a starter for you, he could be a long bullpen piece. And obviously you can't rely on just one game as analytics, but David Morgan was getting beat up. And so if Kyle Hart comes in and it's not just a hot rotation or it's not just a bad pitching start, it's good to see that Kyle Hart could come in and really sit down a bunch of guys in order. That's probably equally as big of a deal as what Fernando did yesterday, was the fact that Kyle Hart came in and settled the ship and got everyone calmed down. Yu Darvish today, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him back. It feels like this team has been missing a little bit of you, and it's good to have him back.
Do you believe the 75 pitches?
I do.
Really? Because I feel like every time we hear this, and Yu Darvish might be in long shots later, may or may not, so stick around. I feel like every time we hear this pitch count, it's always a lie. I feel like there's always some mind games.
You think it's more or you think it's less?
I think it's less, and I would be okay with that. I don't think that throwing Darvish out there at 38 years old in his first start back
I think it depends on how it goes, don't you? If he's pitching well, 75 pitches feels like the maximum. If he struggles at all, then yeah, maybe he gets bounced at 50.
I would like to see. I would throw him 50 in his first start. That's what I get it. You don't want to mess up the bullpen for a 4-game crucial set, but you're adding Darvish back. I don't think throwing 75 in his first game. I mean, look what the Dodgers do with Shohei Ohtani. They went one inning, then 2 innings, then 2 innings. I know it's a little bit different because Shohei's hitting and you don't want to wear him out for the Dodgers, but Darvish is a key cog for this team. I'd be curious if I don't know that I buy 75. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see. Can't wait for it tonight. Padres Diamondbacks, Darvish on the mound for the first time this year. All right, take a quick break. On the other side, we got to talk some soccer because not only was the Gold Cup going on, Team USA gets beat by Mexico yesterday, but SDFC has skyrocketed over the last 2 weeks for every major publication's power rankings, all the way up to number 1, in spite of a loss this weekend to Houston. Let's talk about them and their new superstar coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres, Diamondbacks live from Petco tonight. Yu Darvish making his debut. Mike Schild expects him to go 75 pitches tonight. Zach Gallen will be going for the Diamondbacks. This will be one of 4 games starting tonight. And per Jake Fisher, the Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Warriors, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Kings, and Bucks are all expected to show interest in Malcolm Brogdon. They also believe that Bradley Beal is a buyout candidate, and the Lakers and Clippers are trying to get him on a vet minimum. Is there a weird rattle in your HVAC system or the sound of expensive guessing? At Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air will give you 3 real options guaranteed, or your visit is free. Nobody wows clients like we do. AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. And in between now and 2 o'clock, so over the next hour and a half, A, you got a shot to win $1,000 every single hour. So that's coming up at 1. B, we got Billy Currington tickets to give away. He's going to be at Gallagher Square at Petco Park on Saturday, July 19th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We're going to give away a pair of those tickets coming up over the next hour and a half. I was actually in Gallagher Square for like the first 2 innings yesterday out at Petco Park, and that is a cool spot to take in the game, man. We were up at that little patio bar. I don't even know what you would call it, but looking right at the Gallagher Square stage. And we did have a conversation about going to see Billy Currington and Kip Moore, and I am going to that concert. So we'll give those tickets away coming up in just a little bit. Right now, it's time we start taking SDFC seriously.
Hell yeah.
And I think Sammy and I have been for an entire, since they got announced here in San Diego. We've had Tom Penn on a couple times. We had the head coach, Mikey Vadas, on a couple times. Adrian Garcia Marquez, the voice of SDFC, has been on this show, but SDFC is starting to make some serious noise. And not just power rankings, but number 1 in the Western Conference in the MLS. What, they got about half their season left to go. It finishes up in October. The League's Cup is coming up in a few games. But since I've been gone, all SDFC has done is won, except for on Saturday. But big win over Minnesota, big win over Vancouver, big win over FC Dallas. And then they fall to the Houston Dynamo. That hasn't really changed where they're at. So in the Western Conference right now, they have 39 points, which is the most, just over Vancouver, which makes that win they had about a week ago over Vancouver even bigger. And in power rankings, Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, whoever's got them, SDFC is at the top of all of MLS, meaning they are above Lionel Messi's team, meaning they are above the LA Galaxy. They are the number 1 team in the MLS, at least according to a lot of people who cover it very, very closely. And a lot of it has come when, as soon as they got this guy on loan, and he's from Escondido. He is, what's his nickname? The Nightmare. His name, if you haven't heard it yet, Milan Ilaski, has really taken this league by storm. And now he basically just gets on the grass, and as soon as he's on the pitch, he scores a goal. That's been his whole thing. We had the 3 goals in 12 minutes a couple weeks ago. This past Saturday, had another great goal. So Milan Ilaski, if he keeps this up, at least from what I've seen, he's going to be too good for SDFC. And I think his loan actually goes until the end of July. But we're talking about good problems to have here in San Diego.
Yeah, well, and remember the beginning of the year when you beat LAFC, I believe it was LAFC in the first game, and it was exciting, it was fun, but I remember it was 2-0, and the first goal was kind of a mistake on the back end, and they were pressing to try to win it, and SDFC kind of got behind them. And the problem the first month was that they couldn't score, and that was kind of the thing, is that they're playing really good defensively, but is this really going to last? They're not putting the ball in the net. Well, over the last 4 games, they scored 15 goals. So even though they lost Saturday to Houston, I mean, this team's legit. We're 3 months into the season now, and they're still winning the games. They're at the top of the Western Conference. I know when they played Vancouver last week in the kind of hotly, that was the battle of the top 2 teams of the West, and they didn't have some of their best players. We didn't have some of our best players because of everyone playing internationally, like De La Torre on the U.S. men's national team. So there was some of that, but this team's finding ways to win. Clearly, Mikey Varas has completely inspired this group, and it's cool. It's like it's went from, hey, this is a fun story and it's going to be exciting to get to go watch soccer games, to, wow, this team like legit could go win an MLS Cup, and that'd be super exciting for this city.
Yeah, I'd be down to see that. Now, Saturday, their loss to Houston was the only time all season they've given up 4 points. So this Right to Dream Academy that we talked about with Mikey Varas, basically day 1 when we had him on the show, they emphasize the fast, aggressive play, but also just fast, aggressive, kind of in-your-face defense. And there's questions as to whether that would work or not, or whether that would leave too many. If you take high risk, oftentimes you can get beat going deep. But they're not giving up goals at a high rate at all. One game this year, it was the last one where they gave up 4 of them. So credit to SDFC. Whatever they got going in the juice is working. Can't wait to get out to another match. They're home again next Wednesday, I believe, is the next time they're back.
Yeah, because they're in Chicago, I believe.
In Chicago this weekend, and then Wednesday they'll be back taking on Toronto. Sammy, maybe that is a night that you and I head out to Snapdragon Stadium.
Let's do it.
Have a couple cocktails, taking a soccer match. I'm in.
You can bet on it using Circa.
You can. Those are your boys.
Those are my guys. Those are my people. Everyone can. What do we talk about this in the show? It's squad ride W's. I don't just win. You don't just win. We all win. Okay.
Speaking of squad ride W's, we got long shots coming up in 6 minutes or so. Have we tweaked long shots at all? I know right when we left, long shots was getting in the midst of getting tweaked.
No. We're keeping long shots the way it is. We, obviously there's a little bit less to choose from this time of year, but it's okay because it's going to pick back up here in a month and a half. But no, so the last 2 weeks, basically, or the last week and a half you've been gone, I've been letting all the people who have come in as guests have a selection as well.
Ooh, who did well? Who failed everybody?
So
can I guess?
Yes, take a guess.
I'm going to guess J-Riff was 0 for 2.
Yeah, he was terrible.
I'm going to guess Frankie V was 0 for 1.
Frankie, I can't. Yes. No, Frankie hit. Our guy Marshall did not come through on Monday.
Big Marsh, come on.
No, he came through on Friday. No, he came through on Monday. He missed on Friday. Sliwa got rained out. He picked Fernando, and that was the game on Tuesday. They got canceled
against the Phillies. Yeah,
he told me it was a homer pick, so I was a little like, all right. And
I'm guessing Coach Quintero could not be bothered by it.
I got to give him credit. He picked both right on Thursday. He took Kelsey Plum's over in WNBA, which I gave him credit for. And then we took Joey Chestnut to down 71.25 hot dogs.
He only got 70.5.
Exactly. And I was inclined to go over. I was like, I don't care that he's been off for a year. I think this is his competition. And Coach Contreras said no. He said, I don't think he's going to get the over. So I got to give Coach some credit. Coach,
there was some drama with that because depending on where you bet it, the line was either 71 or 71.5. And initially he got 71. It wasn't until replay review they got it back to 70.5 because he didn't finish all of one apparently.
Wait, I don't understand. I didn't understand on that. Why is it 71.25? Like, how do you eat
because
a fourth of a hot dog?
It's common that they'll get to a half. So 0.25 means because a half, like in football, you're never scoring 20.5 points. You're scoring 21 or 20.
Right.
But in hot dog eating, it's common that you get to a half. So there has to be that hook, right?
Can you watch it?
No, dude, it makes me want to vomit every time.
I love how there's like one day a year that Joey Chestnut is like a top athlete.
He is the GOAT of that. It's a very specific thing, but like Lance Armstrong is the best person who's ever ridden a bicycle. Joey Chestnut is the best person who has ever shoveled food in his mouth at an ungodly rate.
Just how do you even like qualify? Like, how do you realize that that's a skill for you?
We had a professional eater on the show on Big Rich TD and Fletch, somebody who's competed against Joey Chestnut. I'm forgetting this guy's name and I feel really bad about it, but we had him on and we were asking him all these different questions. And one of the questions I asked was, what exactly does a half hot dog mean? And so I guess when you get to that point of eating professionally, like Joey Chestnut does, the half hot dog means even if you take one bite out of dog number 71, that would be considered a half hot dog.
Dude, like, I mean, Joey Chestnut must be like in a hospital right now.
I don't think so. Have you seen some of his posts around? Like,
the post.
They have to keep it in for a certain amount of time, but then I'm sure it's all just going.
Can I tell you what the worst job in the world would be? Is cleaning up the hot dog meeting contest after.
The hot dogs aren't even the most impressive thing he's taken down. Have you seen video of like him doing the shrimp competitions?
No.
He essentially grinds the shrimp down to a paste and just shovels the paste
disgusting. In. I'm sorry to anyone who's on their lunch break right now. It's just because of 4th of July. What? Remember that show, Man vs. Food?
Yeah.
Would you ever watch that?
Not really, but it was the guy who just ordered absurdly large.
They'd order.
They do the challenges like all over the country, right?
The big prize, you got a t-shirt.
No, I actually follow this guy on TikTok who does that. He just travels the country. This is all he does. And he posts YouTube videos of him doing different eating challenges. And every single time he opens it up by, if I win, I get a picture on the wall. If I lose, I have to pay $100. Like, this doesn't feel like a fair deal, dude. You're torturing yourself by eating all this food. The win is a photo on a Polaroid camera that goes up on the wall.
In some restaurant you're never going to be back to.
In Arkansas, like, who cares? And if you lose, you're paying $100. Like, that kind of sucks. I hope you're making a lot on the YouTube video.
Yeah. It's just
It's a different world.
It's a different world. It's just I turn on Sports Center. I'm like, I forgot it was happening. I thought it was later in the day. I didn't realize it was in the morning, and I'm getting like alerts like Chestnut's closing in on a record. I was like,
I wonder when hot girls are going to start doing it.
That could sell better.
You know?
Well, there was one girl that was there that was like pretty fit. Actually, it was kind of surprising.
Muscle mommy?
No, she was like, she kind of like, I thought she was like one of the hosts or something.
Wow, Sammy's future wife, future Mrs. Long.
Hot dog eating contest.
All right, speaking of future Mrs. Long, we got long shots coming up next. It's time for Sammy to make us all some money. So let's take a quick break. Billy Currenson tickets coming up within the next 20 minutes or so. Stay tuned for that and your chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock. But long shots is coming up next. Kind of hard to put into words the feeling of being completely and utterly lost, especially, you know, my wife and I, we've been out of college here for the last 9 years, I think, and we're starting to get serious about our future. We're in San Diego. We want to be here for a long time. We've been renting for the last 6 years. We're both sick of putting money in someone else's pocket. We want to start putting that money in our pocket. Well, there's only one guy that made us feel not lost, and his name is Gary Cooper. Call him today, 858-376-1299. Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty, the one-stop shop for your home buying, your home selling, your mortgage fixing processes. Gary Cooper is the guy for you. He prides himself on eliminating the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. He tells you why when you call 5 different companies, you get 5 different answers. And I used to hear that said all the time about Gary Cooper. I've recorded commercials for Gary in the past. I've listened to commercials with Gary over the last 30 years here in San Diego. But I didn't know what that actually meant until I picked up the phone and called him when I was in that situation. We had talked to a bunch of different mortgage companies. We had talked to 2 or 3 different realtors. And every time I remember having these conversations with my wife when we would get home, be like, do you know what the hell was just said? And the answer was always no. And then we talked to Gary Cooper. We sat with him for about 2 hours and he laid everything out so clearly, so nicely that made it easily understandable and digestible for us. He could do the same thing for you. You just got to give him a call, 858-376-1299. Call Gary Cooper and Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty today for no matter what you're doing in your house process. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you trying to adjust your mortgage rate? Gary Cooper is the guy for you. 858-376-1299. That's 858-376-1299 or visit Gary online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. We're going to get to long shots in just a second, and then we're going to give away some Billy Currington tickets. So make sure you keep listening. He's going to be out at Gallagher Square with Kit Moore coming up on July 19th. I'll be at that show. Can't wait for it. It's a Saturday show at Gallagher Square. Going to be a blast. Billy Currington has some tunes, man. All right, this show, I pride myself on this, Sammy. You know this, and you do as well. Both my classic rock show that I'm a part of with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch and Cat, and this show, the Fletch Zone with me and Sammy. Never, ever, ever, ever will I talk politics on a sports show or on a classic rock show until you mess with this one thing. And coming up in hour 2, we're going to get political on you, but it's not for any, I don't know, social issues or anything going on in the White House or anything. It's something happening here in California that we just all need to take a deep breath and relax a little bit. We'll talk about that coming up in hour number 2. Right now, it is time for long shots. Sammy, do we have a new open? This is all. We
do. So your boy has an endorsement.
Proud of you.
Look at all of us. Look at this show. Just, Fletch got Gary Cooper.
Love Gary Cooper.
He's got his other gamble, his prize picks.
Mm-hmm.
I have Circa now. So we love to gamble on this show. Circa, go check them out. Circa Sportsbook. In Vegas, you can go chill at the pool, have a cocktail. They got some cool contests I'm gonna tell you about coming up later.
It has the coolest pool I've been to in a long time. It also has indoor sportsbook and outdoor sportsbook. The indoor sportsbook is 2 stories high. So most Vegas casinos you go to, it's kind of dark and dingy and you sit down in really comfortable chairs, but
this is it's like a club.
It's Circa's awesome. I spent a weekend there last year during Aztecs football season. Had a great time.
By the way, we're going to sign up for Circa Survivor.
Yes, sir.
Basically, so you put $1,000 in. You can either get 10 friends to $100 each. You can go in just by yourself. Maybe we split seat. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. But you pick one team every week.
I like it.
So it's Survivor Pool, and then you have Circa Million, where you're picking 5 games against the spread each week.
I want to hear this new open.
You excited for it?
I'm excited
ready for it. CJ's the man. He cut it up for us.
Do you want to tell yourself to smash this button?
No. You should say it.
Sammy Long, smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Nice work, CJ. Nice work, Sammy. Nice work, Dom from Sales.
Yes. Shout out to Dom from Sales. Dom's always looking out for us and Fletch and I. So Dom's the best. All right. So we have a very
his last name might be Gia Macarena or something.
See, I was gonna say it. I didn't want to offend him by messing it up.
Gia marinara sauce.
I call him Dom G.
I call him in my phone. He is literally Dom Sales iHeart.
See, I got Dom G because I got a buddy named Dominic and Dom. So I've accidentally called him a few times. That's neither here nor there. Okay, we have a special edition of Long Shots today. Everyone wants to ride with this. Circa Million, Circa Survivor. So we're gonna start with the Padres. Now I know some loyal listeners, SoCal Jayhawks, some other loyal listeners have gotten frustrated with me for using the Padres. They think I'm being a homer and not being truthful with these picks. But I really do believe that Darvish in this one is going to go less than 1.5 earned runs allowed. I'm going to tell you why that's going to happen. I think we have a couple safety blankets here. Darvish pitches a fantastic game. He's fantastic, and he only gives up 1 run. But also, as I mentioned earlier, Schilt said he's going to go 75 pitches. I don't believe that. I really don't believe this. Dave Roberts, not that he's the same as Mike Schilt, said the same thing with Ohtani. He said he's going to go. He might go a few innings, 3-4 innings. He ends up going 1. This is a manager. They're playing mind games with the Diamondbacks, trying to figure things out. I do not believe that he goes 75 pitches. I also think
now the Pods had a bullpen game yesterday.
I know. But I do not think he's going 75 pitches. And if he gets into any trouble at all, Darvish is not really a home run, but giving up the home run ball. If he gets any trouble at all, I think they're going to let him. Again, he's 38 years old. You cannot burn his arm out tonight. This is a random regular season game in the middle or early July. You need Darvish. We got big plans for Darvish down the road. 75 pitches is not in the plans. I don't believe Mike Schilt with that. We're going to go less than 1.5 earned runs allowed for this one. All right, now we're going to go to Philly at San Francisco. Christopher Sanchez, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. Now, the Padres actually did a pretty nice job last week. He only had 5 strikeouts against him. He's a left-hander. He throws a nasty curveball. He can kind of really get into it. this Giants lineup has been struggling. Rafael Devers actually had a really tough week last week. He was like 0 for 14 and had
Bust.
a massive consecutive strikeout.
Terrible trade.
But Sanchez, he had 5 against the Padres, 11 the game before, and then he hit the under in each of the last 2 games, and then the game before that he hit the over. I think this is a big night in San Francisco, starting the series off right, and it'd be good for the Pods as well. See the Giants lose. So Christopher Sanchez, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. I think he has a big one, and they don't tax the bullpen early. Now, I have 2 tennis picks. Okay, we got Wimbledon going on.
We got some Americans making some noise.
What's our
boy? Ben Sheldon? Is that his name?
Ben Sheldon making some noise. Taylor Fritz as well, who's also in here. The local San Diego kid, actually from Rancho Santa Fe. So kind of grew up around here. He's been fantastic, and he's really good on grass.
I know his tennis coach from like when he was like 10 years old.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Why is Taylor Fritz not on the show?
He should be. Maybe afterwards.
Maybe he'll call in from Wimbledon live.
Maybe.
To the Fletch Zone. I don't know what time it is there. They're all wrapping up. But Taylor Fritz, less than 41 total games. He's been kind of a man on a mission. There's a potential really good clash with Alcaraz down the line. With Sinner, it would be Sinner first. So it would be Sinner play today, Sinner possibly playing Fritz in the next round. I think Fritz most through this tries to rest a little bit and get ready for a Sinner, which is likely going to go 5 sets because Sinner's fantastic. Sinner will be favored here, but Fritz in this one going 41 total games, less than. I think he gets this done in 3 sets, and he could do it in 4. So it gives you a little insurance there. Less than 41 total games. Now, my second tennis pick. We're doing a 4-legger today. Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos was very kind to us last week. We hit the under with Sliwa, less than 18.5 games. This one, he's got 32.5 tomorrow against Cameron Norrie. This number, I feel like, is a little juice because people maybe early in this tournament, he actually he got pushed to 5 sets in the opening round. In his last match, he got pushed to 4 sets. Hasn't been quite the same dominant Carlos Alcaraz that we saw there at the French Open, but 32.5, I feel like Vegas is a little bit overcorrecting. Again, it's tough for these guys to get up for the first couple matches. I mean, Sinner, Alcaraz, Fritz, they're all expected to be there at the end of the day. It's when you're playing some guy that's not even ranked, that you're supposed to mow down. No one's watching the game because it's at 3 a.m. in Wimbledon time over here in the States. We're starting to get to the semifinals. We're getting to the round of 16, round of 8. I think Alcaraz gets it done. Less than 32.5 total games. So
I like this.
You like this? We got 2 tennis and 2 baseball.
So much.
Okay.
I got no notes.
You got no notes? Just to recap, Darvish, less than 1.5 earned runs allowed. Christopher Sanchez, pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts against San Francisco, whose bats have been struggling. Taylor Fritz, less than 41 total games. I'm not going to, he's playing Karen Kachanov. So hope I said that right.
Probably not.
And then Carlos Alcaraz playing Cameron Norrie, less than 32.5 total games. I think Fritz, Alcaraz getting ready for the next round and get it going there.
All right. Who wants some Billy Currington tickets? Sammy, you want to go to this concert?
I'd love to go to the concert.
Tickets are on me if you want to go.
Really?
But right now, tickets are on us because if you want to go, call us 877-767-4760. Billy Currington and Kit Moore are going to be at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, Saturday, July 19th. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. Or if you just want to score a couple of free tickets, call us right now, 877-767-4760. Let's go with caller number, what do we think, 5? 5 sounds good.
I like 5.
Caller number 5, you're going to see Billy Currington and Kit Moore down at Gallagher Square at Petco Park. All right, take a quick break. Hour number 2 is coming up next. I got a top 5 list for everybody. We got some Raiders thoughts for everybody, and we'll get back to the Padres with Darvish coming back on the mound for the first time this season tonight. All of that to come in hour number 2 on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This board is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres, Diamondbacks, first of 4 game set tonight. Yu Darvish, per Mike Show, expected to go 75 pitches. They'll be going up against Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. And the Padres have significant interest in Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran. Not new information, but from Bob Nightingale just today. So we'll see if that comes in there. It's a race to the rebate finish line. Homeowners are saving $500 instantly with Anderson Plumbing's water heater buyback program. And qualifying for instant rebates, you better call before rebates run out. Book today, AndersonPHA.com. Nobody wows clients like they do.
The clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres take 2 of 3 from the Rangers to start the homestand.
And a ground ball left side. And past the lunching Seager around third. Here comes Bogarts. Throw to play. Safe and gets away from Heim.
While SDFC falls late to Houston. Well. Look who's back.
Mama. There goes that man.
It's Fletch with his triumphant return. How did that vacay go? We'll find out all about it on the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yeah, the vacation was great, but it is good to be home. I don't know, Sammy, I haven't even shown you yet. Check out these tan lines on the thighs, bro.
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa. This is PG rated.
Yeah, the kid was in the sun basically for the last week and a half, but it was great. I'm happy to be back, happy to be talking Padres, happy to see Sammy's beautiful golden locks hair that he's going to hold on to with dear life for as long as he possibly can. I don't know, your dad's got good lettuce, so you're probably going to keep it forever.
My dad had the 80s hair back in the day.
Yeah.
Down past the shoulders.
Lucky you, man. Started going bald at 19.
Is your pops bald?
Pops is bald. No one on my mom's side's bald.
When did he go bald?
Probably like 25, 26. My brother is in his 30s and it's starting to go. But me, 19. What up? Happy birthday, Benny boy. We're going to start your hair falling out.
How did you find out that it was like, did a clump just come out one day?
No, it started, if I would like, because I was always a hat guy, which probably helped with the baldness, if I'm being honest. Like it started adding into it early, but I would start taking off my hat and there'd just be pieces of hair in it.
Oh.
And then it just kept going and going and going and going. And that's when I realized, man, I need to find a pretty girl now before I'm completely bald. And that's how I met your mother, kids. That'll be the story one day, I guess. But I did.
So it was out of desperation.
I landed a beautiful lady who I then made my wife, and now she's stuck with this bald guy. She likes to say she's been bamboozled, but she loves me, I think.
We were talking about on the show last week about some of the pictures that you were posting.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the self-confidence. I was just curious. Go to Fletch's Instagram. He posted a whole little reel from Tahoe. I was curious if Kendall okayed those pictures to be posted before they were posted.
Probably not.
No,
I don't ask questions, but I was hoping that you guys would make fun of me on the air with a lot of those pictures.
We did.
Good.
We had a really fun time with some of those pictures, but I just go check them out. Your thoughts. Go to Fletch's Instagram, Fletch Sports, and see he was doing some acrobatic stuff in the water.
I took a pretty good face plant on the wake surfboard.
Some could call him Aquaman.
Some could. I mean, I wouldn't. That'd be crazy for me to say. But the backflip thing, that's kind of cool. Am I right? I mean, come on. Could you rip a backflip off a dock?
Here's the problem, though. You have to land it.
What are you talking about?
See, if you're going to do a backflip off a dock, you got to make sure that it's like you're going in like mermaid. You know, you're like in there. You could tell that there was a belly flop after that.
There wasn't that much of a belly flop, but I guess a little one. It wasn't the best backflip I've ever ripped, but you know.
I have a question for you. Was it a first take or was it we did like 13 takes?
That was like the 4th backflip I did that weekend, but none of the other ones were on film. But Rich and Travis always say I can't do a backflip. I just wanted to show them that I could do a backflip.
Okay, so it's kind of for them.
Yeah, that's the only people it was for. And so I posted it on Instagram for everybody else.
I told everyone about Brock's birthday party.
Oh, Brock's birthday party. Brock the dog turned 2 years old. My wife, when we were in Merced, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we need to go to Target. I got a pickup order." And I was like, "Why? We have everything here we need. We're at my mom's house. This is when you don't go grocery shopping because mom's pantry is always stocked." And she said, "No, we just got to go to Target real quick." And so we go to Target. I never see what's in the bag. I was assuming she got like a thank you present for my parents. We get home. And then I think I was going golfing that day. So I get back home the second time. And in my parents' dining room was a birthday party set up for the dog, who I didn't even know it was his birthday at the time. But apparently July 1st is my dog's birthday. And we did have an entire party. Everyone sang to the dog. Everyone,
Really?
all to keep Kendall happy. I was making eye contact with everybody around the room, and everyone was like, "Are you serious right now?"
So people were in on this.
Well, yeah. My family loves Kendall, so they're willing to do what I do with Kendall, which is kind of be okay with the crazy stuff that she does because she is great. But this is above and beyond the craziest thing she's ever done.
See, I gotta have your pops call in so we can get some honest thoughts.
I think I just said it. I think that's exactly what he would say.
70470. Start your message with team. What's your reaction to Fletch having a birthday party for his dog? Listen, I've loved my dogs in the past. I've never had a birthday party for him.
And neither have I. This was kind of out of nowhere. I had no idea this was coming, but
I have a question. At a dog's birthday party, was there like cake? Like the dog can't eat chocolate.
There's dog cakes, Sammy.
Get out.
And he had a dog cake, and my nieces and nephews took turns blowing out the candles.
Where the hell do you find a dog cake?
They sell them at Target, I guess. I think she had to make it in like a microwavable cup, but yeah, there's dog cakes.
Wow, we're learning a lot about the Fletcher family.
Yeah, not really where I thought hour 2 was going to get started, but I'm glad we went there, and I do love my dog, and I wouldn't feel bad throwing him another birthday party. He deserves it. He's our firstborn son, so.
Oh, you're that calls your dog your son?
Yeah, he is our son. He's our firstborn.
Oh, Lord.
760, bro, you got to have a kid. Yeah, hit us up on the text line 70470. Start your message with team. No babies yet, just one little fur baby. All right, we're going to get to the big three in just a second. Coming up on the other side of this next commercial break, we're going to talk about something that's happening in California that we need to put a stop to. I can think of no better people than Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long to stand up to big government when it matters the most.
I will campaign.
This is a crossover News Radio 600 Kogo, San Diego Sports 760 segment that I promise you is not that serious, but it is coming up in about 7 minutes. But first, big three. Sammy, smash the button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
We're naming names too. Politicians, you better duck and cover. We're throwing some grenades. That's probably bad use of language. We're throwing some truth bombs.
We're turning into Kogo.
Yeah.
We're gonna make change.
Who's
Fletch?
the dude that does the late night coast to coast, like conspiracy theory talk? What's it, Nori? I think it's Nori. 24-hour news. I think that's his last name.
24-hour. I don't know who that is.
It's like late nights. It runs in the middle of the night. It has for 20 plus years. I think it's George Nori. I think that's the name. But he talks about like aliens and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he runs on like
loopy?
A bunch of different radio stations all across the country.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right, where we start with the
we're
big
gonna
three?
get change happen in SoCal.
I think so.
NBA free agency was last week. So a lot of big moves. Denver got better. Houston, obviously Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. Oklahoma City kind of re-signed everyone. Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton. What team do you think improved the most that you're looking at for next season after free agency?
I don't even want to say this out loud right now because I know Sammy's going to be like, yeah, we got our center. But DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers makes a lot of sense. Look, DeAndre Ayton, if you don't remember him in college, that dude is a bad man. And it hasn't worked out great at the NBA level yet. He's been good, not great. But I think he fixes a lot of the problems the Lakers have. Now, it has been very easy on social media and online to make fun of this move by the Lakers because there's one clip. There's exactly one clip of DeAndre Ayton really phoning in a play against Nikola Jokic. And it had been it had been an entire game of disappointment. Like Jokic was poning him, but Jokic kind of does that to everybody. But then it's like he doesn't go after a rebound and everyone's like, oh, Lakers got their center. This dude doesn't even work hard. I actually think it's kind of a slam dunk.
Yeah, well, no one thought he was going to be available. I mean, you're talking about, the Lakers certainly got better. I'm excited with Ayton being there. And LaRavia, I think, was a nice add as well because it kind of makes Connect a little bit more expendable if you were to trade him at the deadline because you got a legit shooter. And Ayton gives you the size. The Lakers had no size. They weren't going to win anything with no size. It's that simple. Jackson Hayes can't be a starting center even though he came back. He's going to be either the second or third center depending on what Horford decides. So excited about Ayton. The Denver Nuggets, I think, got a lot better. I mean, adding Cam Johnson and trading Michael Porter Jr., I think that was the right move for them. Michael Porter Jr. is a guy who, he's electric at times, and he can drop 25, 30 points. But Cam Johnson's what they needed. They needed a guy who can take the best offensive scorer on the other team and shut them down, as well as providing 20 points into the mix. And it's kind of weird with Denver because you have Michael Porter Jr., who was very inconsistent, and he was one of the reasons why they ended up losing to Oklahoma City in that series. And then Jamal Murray, who is exceptional in the playoffs, but really has had a major injury history, hasn't been super consistent in their regular season. I think Cam Johnson, as well as getting Jonas Valanciunas, bringing Bruce Brown back was a good ad for the Nuggets. I don't know. In the Western Conference, I think Oklahoma City's got some competition. I mean, the Rockets should be good. The Nuggets should be good. The Lakers should be good. The Clippers are going to be good. I mean, there's a lot of teams. So I don't know that we're going to see a dynasty in the Western Conferences for years to come just because of how talented it is.
Now, news did come down today that Tyrese Halliburton is going to miss the entirety of next season after that Achilles tear, which was kind of rumored to be the case, but people thought he might be ready for the postseason. It doesn't look like he will be, and that sucks for the Pacers because you do feel like in the East they had a bit of a path.
No,
that's brutal.
It's such a bummer, man. Like it
sucks for the NBA.
Yeah. Halliburton's out, Tatum's out, Dame's out. I mean, it's a bummer that 3 megastars in the NBA and the Eastern Conference specifically are all out.
But the storyline heading into next season easily could have been Tyrese Halliburton, new face of the league.
100%. Well, if he plays the game, do they win the championship? And we're not talking about. I mean, we'll never know. It sucks. But so let's go to the NFL. Sources, teams. We didn't get to this last week because it broke on Friday.
Sources, plural.
Sources.
Oh my God.
Teams, more possible trade offers for drumroll, please. TJ Watt. Steelers.
Wow.
Is he getting shipped out of town? There's been some talks about contract talks. Seemed like they're a little bit far apart. There's been some rumors the guaranteed money is not where he wants it to be from Pittsburgh. If you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, knowing that you could get a massive haul, I mean, you could get a king's ransom for TJ Watt. Would you even consider trading him?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't the Steelers have 2 first-rounders next year already?
Let me look. I know they have like a record, like they have like 11 picks in the draft.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that, but you are getting a ton for TJ Watt, and a lot of teams would line up to do it. It might be the right timing for this. Now, if you're thinking that Aaron Rodgers makes you a Super Bowl contender, I think first of all, stop smoking weed and start getting into reality. But if you are thinking that, it would be an insane mistake to let TJ Watt go because he is one of those guys that single-handedly makes your defense from a B- to a A-. Like TJ Watt is that good. Now, if you're looking at teams around the league, every single team outside of maybe the Cleveland Browns have room for TJ Watt because the Cleveland Browns just have Myles Garrett. He is TJ Watt.
Well, and they never trade him in division.
Right. So if you are a team in the NFL and you're, man, I don't know what you give up. That's a first rounder plus, isn't it?
Oh, easy. That's a legit first rounder. Not a we're in the Super Bowl conversation picking in the late 20s. I mean, TJ Watt, pass rushers he turns 31 in October. Pass rushers.
What? There's 5 people we can say are in the conversation for best defensive player of the league, and he's maybe in the top 3 of those 5.
And the thing with TJ Watt is why he's so valuable is it's not just like he's simply a great pass rusher. We've seen guys who are great pass rushers, but maybe they're awful against the run. I mean, he can drop back in coverage. He's gotten interceptions in his career. He's a good against the run. I mean, he is an exceptional defender in all aspects. You say Dibs?
Dibs. I think he'd look good in gold and red.
Oh, God. He might go for like 2 first-round picks plus a second, any young player. I mean, you would get an absolute haul. Pittsburgh's got to figure this out, though, because they're in this weird limbo state. And again, Aaron Rodgers was the best choice they had. Yes, Aaron Rodgers over Mason Rudolph is a better option. Aaron Rodgers will win you some games. But they're in this weird limbo state because you go with this young defense, you trade away Pickens, you get a young superstar receiver in Metcalf, but then you got an old quarterback who's already talking about how he won't play next year. Do you keep with the youth movement, TJ Watt, and just
Well, follow me here for a second. You trade TJ Watt now, and for whatever reason, I have Pittsburgh having 2 first rounders in my head for next year. I don't know.
They
if
have
that's
a bunch.
the case.
They have like 11 picks in next year's draft. So
Maybe that's it, because I was saying they could load up all their picks to try to move up to 1 or 2. But imagine you move TJ Watt, you get a second first round pick going into next year, and all of a sudden you have all this ammo to move up to potentially take the first overall pick, get your pick of the class of quarterbacks coming in, which could be Arch Manning.
Right, yeah, Arch Manning. I'm forgetting the guy's name out of Mississippi State. It's supposed to be really good. I mean, you got. It's supposed to be a good QB class next year.
I'd trade TJ Watt. They're not Super Bowl contenders. They're playoff contenders.
They're a playoff contender. I think a reasonable expectation for the Steelers this year is to make the playoffs and win a game. I think that could be very feasible. Maybe 2, and that's maybe. That's depending on who it is. I don't see it in the if they were in the NFC, I think they could be legit Super Bowl contenders because I don't see the level gauntlet of quarterbacks you have to go through. In the AFC, having the deficit at quarterback in every matchup. If you play the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, I mean, the Chargers. I mean, you are going to have a quarterback disadvantage. I don't know how you're going to win 3 straight games or 4 straight games to get to a Super Bowl, or 3 straight games to get to a Super Bowl with that.
If TJ Watt does get moved, it is not Mike Tomlin's decision.
Well, and if you're Mike Tomlin,
I don't think he would ever give up TJ Watt.
No, the only reason, if you're Mike Tomlin, you've been on the hot seat, you're not giving up TJ Watt. The only way you're giving up TJ Watt, if you're Mike Tomlin, is if you have assurances that you will be back for the next 2 years and you get to see a quarterback, which
they might move TJ Watt and not give Mike Tomlin assurances. This might be hey, figure it out without him, get us to the postseason this year, and then we can talk about you keeping your job next year.
I don't understand coming out of Pittsburgh Steelers land all the hate for Mike Tomlin.
I
just
don't
don't get it. Like, he's a winning head coach, and all the guy does is put a team that is.
But it's because they haven't gotten past that. It's like, yeah, you're giving us wins every year, but that's it. And we're just getting to 10 wins, and you think that's good enough? No, it's Pittsburgh Steelers. We have, what, are they second all-time in Super Bowl wins?
Yes.
Why aren't we there still?
But why are we not having this conversation about McDermott for the Bills? Or hell, and I love John Harbaugh. I would not fire John Harbaugh.
Because the Bills aren't the Steelers.
But
like, there's a historical pedigree that the Steelers have.
They have a quarterback which is not that is supposed to be winning Super Bowls. Same with the Ravens. Mike Tomlin has never had a quarterback since Big Ben. In the last 3 years of Big Ben, he was an absolute shell of himself. So it's hard to hold Mike Tomlin to the same standard that some of these other coaches seem to get a pass on when, by how we talk about them, Lamar winning MVPs, Josh Allen winning MVP, putting up lethal numbers. Why are they not winning Super Bowls?
Yeah, we got some Pete Carroll talk coming up in about 15, 20 minutes that I think is interesting, man, heading into this next NFL season. So we'll get that. But coming up next, something's going on in California that Sammy and I think, need to address. We might need to go, I don't know, where do you go, like to a city hall meeting or something? Is that where things can start?
Our text line's popping off, and our text line can help with this. I think we got some people that are high business lawyers.
Grassroots movement is what I want.
Yes.
Starting small.
Every man.
And then getting bigger. Sammy and I start that conversation coming up next on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances every single weekday for you to win $1,000. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 2 right here on San Diego Sports 760. So keep on listening because you might put $1,000 in your pocket. Sammy would like that a lot.
Yeah, and then you know what you can do? You can take it right to Circus Survivor.
That's not a bad idea. Isn't that what it is? It's $1,000 entry.
$1,000 entry. You can get 10 buddies, 10 family members, or you can just do 1,000 yourself. Pick one team every week.
What would that group text look like?
That's what.
If you had 10 friends all picking one team every week.
See, that's
how do you get to consensus?
Now we're doing this. We're getting in on this.
Just you and me. I don't know if I can do more than just 2 people.
I can go we can go 500. Now Dom wants in from sales. I was thinking about doing a whole station thing, but
he can be in financially, but there's no shot that he's having any sort of say over.
He told me he'd take a backseat.
Good.
So you have to listen, everyone's got a friend group where they got the punching bag friends.
Is it money line or is it just straight up?
No. So it's just money line. Yeah. So Circa Survivor is you just pick a money line every week. So if you pick, I don't know, week 1, if you pick the Chiefs to beat the Chargers, you can't pick the Chiefs again later that season if they win.
Right, but you're not doing like Chiefs minus 6.5.
No. That's if you don't trust your friends, and I understand this. If you're a little like, I don't want to deal with this, then you play Circa Million, where you pick 5 games against the spread each week, and then it's a total you can win up to like 15. There's a lot of money to be thrown around.
I like this.
I'm very excited.
Are we going to be very deliberate and lawful when we communicate with each other about this?
Yes.
Pinkies up conversations, not necessarily down and dirty.
No, see, we're going to have our listeners are going to get involved in this too.
How early are you picking the Chiefs?
There's money on the line. I'm not just picking the Chiefs because they're my team. That's something I'm concerned with about you.
No, I'm totally cool.
We're picking. You gotta find the diamonds in the rough, especially early on.
I want Jags right away.
Hey, T-Law, little Travis Hunter, 2-tutty game.
2-tutty right off the bat. We'll see. Speaking of all of this, so let's just take a quick break here. This is not something the show would normally do. We're going to get back to Darvish and the Padres, his first start of the season. We'll get back to Fernando Tatis Jr., who literally had to cancel a vacation because he got selected to the All-Star team. He was as surprised as any of us.
Where do you think that vacation was?
I don't know. He said he had to cancel his hotel room.
It must have been nice.
Probably.
He's not staying at a Best Western.
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully they don't advertise.
Best Westerns are nice, dude. I like Best Western.
Yeah, shout out to them but you want to stay at Circa, not Best Western.
Of course. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like Fernando Tatis Jr., I would agree, had no business being in the All-Star game this year, but is in the All-Star game this year, had to cancel. We'll get to all of that coming up. Something is happening in Sacramento that is impacting our daily lives, and I am not happy with it. Not one bit. This dude, Rob Bonta, who I'll be honest, I learned his name yesterday. Do you know who he is, Sammy?
No. Is he what party is he?
I don't know. And I honestly don't care. Like this is
I don't
not
care what party it is. I just want.
This is not a Republican, Democrat, and I think now there's an American party. This is nothing like that.
Oh yeah.
But Rob Bonta is the California Attorney General, which I probably should have known that, but I didn't.
That's why we have Kogo, so we can understand these things.
So Rob Bonta has now concluded, whatever, that state law prohibits draft and pick'em daily fantasy contests because they involve betting on sporting events. That is what Mr. Rob Bonta is saying.
Unbelievable.
Now, Rob, can I call you Rob? Is that okay?
Robbie.
We should probably get him on the show.
The big ROB.
But Rob, daily fantasy sports are skill-based fantasy games.
Exactly.
That is literally what every single one of them says. And now I'm obviously partial to Prize Picks, but DraftKings, FanDuel, they're all very similar. I just think Prize Picks is the best. Promo code Fletch gets you a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. But when it comes to daily fantasy sports, it is very different. Like Sammy, you and I both spent lots of time in Vegas. Sports betting is when you go over under on a game. Where you go, I think
totals.
Right. I think the Chiefs are going to win by 6 tonight, so I'm going to put some money down on that. Oh, how about we do a little parlay? I got Chiefs, Niners, blah, 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 whatever. You get that. That's sports betting. Daily fantasy sports is individual players. You are picking more than or less than usually on what they are going to do in that game. It is fantasy sports. It is not anything remotely close to what you would call betting. I do have a big problem with this.
You know what? Let's just get rid of all fun. Let's get rid of alcohol, weed. Anything fun in society. Let's just get rid of it because that's what's his name?
Rob Bonta.
Rob Bonta. Come on, man.
So California, for those of you, 10 states have not legalized sports betting yet. 10. You know how it's going for the other 40? They're pretty happy with it because guess what? States make more money when there's more things to be taxed. We have more fun when you're allowed to do what you want.
Well, and they got the important stuff out. I understand, with college kids, the more or less than, because college kids aren't living in some fancy house in Malibu or Rancho Santa Fe. They're going to school, they're going to class, so it's easy for them to kind of. There's been some corruption in some of the light college games that maybe aren't even televised or way on ESPN Plus deep in there. So they got rid of that, which I understand. But I mean, like, come on, what are we doing here? This is fun. So, like, then by that rationale, let's get rid of fantasy football. Let's get rid of
okay. I'm glad you said that.
That's coming next.
Literally, that's what's coming next. Now they're trying to figure out ways to enforce on like private. So, like, we have an iHeart League that we're a part of.
Yeah,
they're trying to figure out how to make sure that there's no money being spent on private daily or full season fantasy sports. So, your fantasy football league that you've been a part of for 25 years. Has there ever been money exchanging hands? Because guess what? California's coming for it.
This is like prohibition.
Yeah, this is dumb. It's exactly what it's like. And you know what? We're allowed to make mistakes. I think that's part of what makes us American. We are allowed to go out and have a couple beers. All right. And the idea behind it is that you're responsible enough to not get in a car afterwards or to take an Uber. They actually make it very easy for you not to drink and drive these days. I feel like this is similar, man. Let people make their own choices. If anything, California benefits if sports betting gets allowed here. Yeah. This is the dumbest thing that our state's doing right now.
Do you know how many people, real quick before we get to break, how many people like in fantasy football league who maybe around, everyone knows this at their office, wherever you work, who wouldn't have watched football before or wouldn't have watched, who go, hey, I got invited to a fantasy league or a March Madness bracket or whatever, and I need some help with my picks, and you get into it. Like it's a cool thing when people are all kind of invested, and I know at iHeart certainly here at the hallways whenever it's Monday after the NFL. I mean, everyone's all talking about it. It's a bummer. This is not whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever you are. Like, come on, let's allow some over-unders, some betting. It's fun for society. It's a fun thing to do. And our grassroots campaign starts today.
I think so.
And Fletch and I will be out campaigning.
I'm thinking about picketing.
Yes, all our listeners, we can go picket.
We should come up with some creative strike chants.
Over, under.
We'll keep working on that. Maybe we'll deliver some at the end of the show.
We got to workshop it a little
bit. All right. We got a bunch of really great texts on the text line today. 70470. Start your message with team. We will read those coming up next. We'll also get back to the Padres coming up next. And then I got a top 5 list that I was working on all vacation long. That's coming up at 1:45. So don't go anywhere. Before John and Jim, we got a lot to get to still. It is San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by the Jim Bistrell Real Estate Team. Padres back tonight from Petco, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks for a 4-game set. Yu Darvish making his season debut for the Pods. Mike Schill expects him to go 75 pitches. The Diamondbacks are bringing a record of 44-46. Have Zach Gallen on the mound. The Padres are currently minus 125 on the money line. That game will be going at 6:40 in the NFL. Star kick returner Kevontae Turpin for the Cowboys has been arrested on 2 charges of possession of an unlawful weapon and marijuana. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You get no phone call, just a text. Jim Bistrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you live on the iHeartRadio app as well as AM 760. Hey, some serious stuff here. The devastating Texas floods have impacted countless residents. If you've seen the news on this, it is absolutely terrible. Families have lost their homes, communities, and lives have been shattered, and children are still missing. The need is urgent. The Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has launched the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund to support response, relief, and long-term recovery efforts. All donations will go directly to trusted local organizations to provide food, shelter, healthcare, and hope. Join us today and donate to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund at communityfoundation.net. That is communityfoundation.net. I'm sure John and Jim will give you the specifics a little bit later on today. We got a bunch of texts here that I want to get to before we get back to the Padres. From the 619, this is our buddy SoCal Jayhawk. For the record, I suggested long shots for NBA games on TV. Never had an issue with taking picks on the Padres players. I'd never advised taking picks on teams you have an emotional attachment for or against, but individual performances is a different animal. From our buddy SoCal Jayhawk.
Very true. SoCal Jayhawk, I misquoted you on that.
760, Fletch, you got to have a kid. You're right. I probably do. We're a little too obsessed with our dog. 916, I'm 63 years old with a full head of hair. Certainly can't imagine being a baldified boy.
Baldified boy.
Thank you, 916. Appreciate that a lot. Did start going bald since I was 19.
916, bringing some heat.
63 years old, full head of hair. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, dude's probably got luscious locks.
That's awesome. Good for you. That is the thing about living in San Diego. If like you walk down Pacific Beach, you see some 80-year-old people.
Great head of hair.
In great shape. Great heads of hair. It's crazy. 858, what Mike Tomlin has done with the quarterbacks post Big Ben has been nothing short of incredible. That's an absolute fact. 747, in March, my local Long Beach pub does a huge birthday for the BSH and the BSB dogs. We had over 30 dogs in this year, lots of dog prizes, cake, and outfits for them to join. Your male dog has to be big, strong, and handsome, or your female dog needs to be a beautiful, sexy bee. They run together.
See, you know what I love is
What's the pub name, by the way? I'm up in Long Beach all the time. That's where my wife's family is.
Yeah, shout out to Long Beach. I was reading that text ahead of Fletch, and I was going to see how he's going to self-edit the text, and I was just waiting.
Well, I do think with dogs, like that is the scientific name, isn't it?
What?
Like a female dog, scientifically.
You're going to get us canceled.
Okay, I won't say it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
747 says, can the players vote on trades in the NFL? I believe the Steelers would give TJ Watt to the Chiefs just for a photo op with Taylor Swift.
Hey, I'm with it.
You're not nervous that TJ Watt would still be Mr. Stereo Girl to Travis Kelce?
First off, look at Travis Kelce. It's a handsome man. I don't think he's really worried about TJ Watt.
858's trying to rain on our parade, Sammy. California will never allow gambling. Learn the truth. 99% of the taxes don't stay in the state. And then there's a lot. Look, it's very well thought out. 858, and you probably know a lot more about this than we do. We just want to have fun.
Yeah, we have paragraphs roaming in here about politics.
858, don't talk politics when you don't know politics. Probably fair. That's why we don't usually talk politics.
Well, no, I you don't have to agree with the opinion, but I think that there should be gambling in the state. Sorry.
619.
That's not even like a left or right thing. That's just simply I hope that there's gambling allowed in the state, just like there is in Arizona and half the other states in this country.
It is fun. Like I was in Michigan visiting my sister, and being able to just have it on your phone is awesome.
I did it all. I lived out in Phoenix for like 4 months last year. It was fantastic.
That's when you became a degenerate. 619. What is ironic is the state of California is okay with scratchers and lottery tickets, which is a form of gambling, as this is a large earner for California as they take a portion of the money paid in, but they aren't okay with sports betting because the companies are recipients of the profits and California is left out. This is a great lesson. of an overreaching politician / government pretending to look out for us, but acting in their own best interest. I will say, Gavin Newsom did stand up against Rob Bonta, I believe that was his name, and said that California wants to work with these companies, the Prize Picks, the FanDuels, the DraftKings, to try to make sure daily fantasy sports is still here.
You know how fun it would be? We could do player props, and then we could do live money lines, live bet. I mean, it's just
go to an SDFC game in your seat.
You're live betting.
Yeah, Padres game in your seat.
I was at a Suns game last year, and I could live bet from the seat. It was fantastic.
It'd be cool. Just say it'd be cool.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree on that. All right, Padres, they're back in action tonight. They start a 4-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks haven't necessarily been an easy pitch for the Padres so far this year. And it's going to be Zach Gallen tonight, who throughout his career has made a lot of money on games that he's played against the Padres. The dude's been fantastic against the Padres, and it's Yu Darvish's first start tonight. Now, the number Mike Schultz said is 75 pitches for Yu Darvish tonight. And I think that sounds about right. Look, this rehab process has been going on for what feels like since the start of the season, March 27th. And that's exactly what it's been. Yu Darvish, remember, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks before the season started? Yu Darvish was complaining about elbow tightness, and we both went,
remember
this ain't good.
You said, I got to give you credit because you said it, because everyone said, AC had said it was like, 2 weeks.
Well, the Padres said that.
Yeah, it's not AC. The Padres said 2 weeks, and everyone's like, yeah.
That doesn't feel right to me. Elbow tightness right before a season begins. That feels like a lot longer than that. Well, spoiler alert, it was a lot longer than that. The first game of the season was March 27th. Tonight is July 7th. Do some math here. What is that? 3.5 months?
Now, the one kind of silver lining in this, in the King and Darvish getting, exactly. I mean, that's kind of been argued for the Dodgers when people want to talk about how the Dodgers have the most taxed bullpen in the league, which is true. Some of it's a little skewed because they do a lot of, a guy starts a game, then they let someone go the rest of the game. So technically it's the bullpen, but they have completely taxed their arms. But a lot of their pitchers are injured, which is so they're going to be fresh down the stretch. The nice thing for the Padres is that King and Darvish, even though it's been frustrating at times, and probably the Padres might have a little bit better record, even though it's a good record right now. They're above 500, 48-41. They are right there in the middle of the pack, though, because everyone's so good in the NL. But they probably could improve that record a little bit. But, I mean, listen, especially Darvish, because being 38 years old, he's a fantastic pitcher. He's been like that in the playoffs. He was great last year. I know he lost game 5, but that was not on him whatsoever. That was on the offense. That was on the bats and not coming through. And Darvish down the stretch, I'm curious how they're going to use him. Are they going to use him as an every 5-day pitcher, or are they going to be kind of maybe a little safer with him?
Per Kevin Acee, the plan is for him to get 2 starts between now and the All-Star break, which would mean starting once tonight and then 5 days from now. I can't remember who they're playing right before the All-Star break, but that's the plan. He's going to start twice over the next 5 games, or over the next 6 games.
They got the Phillies again.
That's right, the Phillies. And so if Yu Darvish does that, comes out of both those healthy, gets a nice little break for the All-Star break, that's the best case scenario for the Padres right now. I would lean more towards Sammy, but I think 75 pitches is around the number tonight. Sammy thinks it's going to be around 50. All right, before we get out of here, and I give you a top 5 list right before we get to John and Jim, Las Vegas Raiders. Last year, they win 4 games. Bad year for the Raiders. Fire their head coach. Pete Carroll comes in and was given the job right at the get-go to change the culture in Las Vegas, because they got some dudes. Like Brock Bowers is a serious tight end. On the defensive side, Max Crosby is one of the most electric TJ Watt-esque players in the entire NFL. They bring in a new quarterback in Geno Smith. Can this work for the Raiders this year? Their number, depending on where you look, Fox Bet has them at 7.5 wins. Bet MGM has them at 6.5 wins, and it's in there somewhere for their win total. I'm telling you, I like the Raiders this year. I think Ashton Jancy mixed with Pete Carroll, he's a total Pete Carroll running back that can probably be used to get 20 to 25 touches per game. I think that the Raiders are going to be pretty good this year. AFC West, best division in football. I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a case, because even if you say before the year the Raiders are the worst team in the division, the Raiders are, in my opinion, are going to be that team this year that is going to have some really good wins, and then you're going to go, what just happened?
What's the record against the Chiefs this year?
Actually, the Raiders, ironically, play the Chiefs the toughest, even when they're horrible, even when they're awful, rather than the Chargers or the Broncos. So, I mean, the Chiefs have dominated against the AFC West. The AFC West is certainly good this year. The Chargers feels like the same thing every year. They get close and everyone says how it, somehow the refs or something screwed it. But the Broncos really improved. I would put the Broncos as number 2 in the division. The Raiders feel like they're going to be a team at the end of the year that's going to play somebody. Maybe it's the Chiefs, maybe it's Buffalo, maybe it's someone else who's going to beat somebody and really mess up an AFC draft position, or playoff position in the AFC.
By the way, I did talk to him last week, and Mike Costa will be a weekly feature on this show. As the NFL season gets closer, Mike Costa is going to join us. We haven't locked down a day yet, but he's going to be our Raiders insider.
Mike. Love Mike Costa.
I showed up. We did that TV show 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
It's on the air with Soli and Militani.
You guys were good on that too.
I had no idea Mike Costa co-hosted that show. That was like his first day doing it officially.
Really?
And so I walk out onto the stage and I'm sitting right next to Costa. I was like, what the hell are you doing here?
Like, what's up, dude?
Yeah. But I did talk to Costa. He's going to be on weekly with us either the week or two before the NFL season starts or right when the NFL season starts.
I love it. And maybe we got to surprise him with Steve. We got to have a loose cannon reunion.
Dude, they should just both come in and just do their show. They can have the 2 hours.
We'll just chime in every now and then.
I'll just sit in the chair over there.
Yeah, the little stool.
Yeah, that's all. I'll just watch.
I'll sit in the booth back here.
Yeah, that'll be great. All right, but Raiders, I do think are going to be fun this year. Some of the video coming out with Pete Carroll, and who knows what can be trusted right now, but it's him like putting guys in headlocks, but not in like a Urban Meyer way, but in like a fun way.
No, but that's the other thing is they have a legit great head coach now. Pete Carroll, everyone wants to run down Pete Carroll in Seattle. All Pete Carroll did was go to 2 Super Bowls, should have won 2 because if they run the ball.
Yeah, that's on him.
That's
on him.
7-6 is Denver going to. Oh God, here we go. Denver going to take the West this year. Best defense in the NFL for those additions. Watch out, boy.
Yeah, 7-6. That is until Justin Simmons leaves your team because trade rumors are already going crazy.
Listen, hey, playing for second place is always fun. Listen, there's no shame in being number 2, Denver. Okay.
858, the government that promotes a terrible and impossible to win lottery has an issue with sports wagering hypocrisy.
Hashtag hypocrisy.
Dude, you know what? This is the start of the grassroots movement.
We have a lot of support on the text line. We attacked
the lotto first.
I think we should be able to keep the lotto though too.
Here, you want really quickly some of these when we go picketing in Sacramento?
Yeah, give us some lines for our listeners to say. Maybe some
no
t-shirts.
more waiting, no more lies. Let us bet and legalize.
Yes, I like that little rhyme.
Vegas wins and we lose cash. Sacramento, fix this fast.
I think that would be pro the other side, right?
No.
Because this is Vegas taking our money.
Yeah, I didn't think too much about it.
What's the one with the Lakers and the Niners?
Oh yeah, here we go. From the Niners to the Lake Show, let us bet and let it flow.
Let it flow. Let it flow. Exactly.
Props to the people, not to the state. Stop the stall and legislate. That could be for anything.
You know what I do if I'm San Diego? I'm building downtown, right by Petco, massive like sports book. Like, I mean, just like a huge, like a huge, like not even a sports book, just a watch party, basically like a massive Buffalo Wild Wings place.
We're not asking for a sin, just a legal way to win. I like that one.
I like it.
All right, take a quick break. I got a top 5 list coming up on the other side that I ruminated all vacation about. I'll let you know what it is. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
You know what's more fun than winning money by yourself? It's winning money with your friends. As known on the show here, we believe in squad ride W's. This is why you got to check out Circus Survivor. It's $1,000 to enter, so grab 9 of your friends or family, or go in $100 each. Or if you and your buddy are confident, split the $1,000 yourself. You pick one team each week to win their matchup. Once you burn a team, you can't pick them again this season. Now, I consider Fletch a personal friend of mine, but this is where we part ways because for the 997th time, no, we are not taking the Niners to beat the Seahawks in Seattle in week 1. Okay? With Circa Million, you have the ability to win $15 million. All you got to do is go 20-0 or outlast the competition. And everyone knows what happens when you try to plan a vacation with the friend group. Someone wants a high-priced dinner. Someone wants a helicopter ride. But let's just agree we meet in the Circa Sportsbook. If you and a group are having trouble deciding on things, coming to consensus on a weekly pick for Circa Survivor may not be right for you. But don't worry, Circa's got you covered with Circa Million, where you don't need friends to tell you what to pick. All you need to do is pick 5 teams against the spread each week, and you can win up to $6 million in guaranteed prizes. Winner gets $1 million. And get this, if you're the worst entry in the pool, you win the booby prize, which is $100,000 to the worst entry. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. It gives you an excuse to plan a summer Vegas trip and provides season-long fun all throughout the NFL season. The best part about it is while you're signing up, you get to relax in the Circus Sportsbook with wall-to-wall TVs outside the pool with a cocktail in your hand, showing off that summer bod you've been working on for the last few months. Circus Survivor, Circa Million, play it now.
Been a fun one today here on San Diego Sports 760. If you missed any of it, you can catch up on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search the Fletch Zone and you can find us there. Subscribe, add us to your presets. We sure would love that. The station as well as the podcast. I did want to do a top 5 list to end the show for today. So Sammy, if you will, can I get some NFL horns maybe in the background?
Oh, yeah, best time of year.
Oh, by the way, the countdown clock is down to 58 days, 10 hours, 6 minutes, and 20 seconds until kickoff of the 2025-26 NFL season. Opening night is going to be, it's Eagles and is it Chiefs? No,
it's Eagles and Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Chiefs, Chargers play Friday in Brazil.
That's right. All right, so the top 5 list is, if you've been away from your home a long time, the creature comforts that you know and love in your own house.
Love that.
So Saturday we got home. This was actually the longest I'd ever been away from this condo, 10 days. I've never been away from San Diego for 10 days since I moved to San Diego. So we get back on Saturday and I jotted this list down. Number 5, your TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's set up how you like it. It has your apps on it. You don't need passwords for everything. Like at Airbnb, you always have to log into Peacock, log into Netflix.
Exactly.
At my parents' house, they didn't have HBO Max. I steal Sammy's HBO Max, so it's back on my TV at home. That's on you. That's your fault. You signed in.
So it's logged in 4 different places?
No, just I don't know your password. It's just logged in on my TV at home.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, your sofa.
Yeah.
Look, it's when their indentations are wrong at different people's houses or at Airbnbs. Like I get back to my sofa, I know exactly where I like to sit on my sofa, and the indentations are right where I need them, if you know what I mean. 3, your shower. Look, water pressure is different everywhere. My mom's house has way too high water pressure. It like hurts your skin when the water hits you. The water pressure in my condo is not great, but it is mine, and I know what to expect, and it feels more comfy. Number 2, your kitchen. Don't ask me why my spatula is where it is. Don't ask me why my pot that I boil pasta water in is where it is, but I know where it is. So it's important.
Number 1 is.
What's number 1?
No, you go first, and I'm going to tell you one if it's not there.
Number 1 is the number 2, baby. It is your toilet. There is nothing like getting home from a long trip and sitting down on your throne that you know what it feels like. It is automatic release. You don't have to worry about, oh, this seat's not comfortable. No, your toilet is elite.
Yeah, we have run out of time here, but yes, 100% toilet is a must. First off, sometimes there's small toilets, and then it's a whole thing. It's not fun. TV is underrated there because also
I was going back and forth between TV and bed, but I value my sofa more than I value my bed.
The only thing I'll say about the sofa is depending on the place, sometimes they can have really comfortable furniture, and I can find a little nest.
Yeah, but I like my sofa.
No, I agree. But where's bed at?
Bed is number 6. It was between bed and TV.
Bed's higher than sofa. I
disagree.
Have your own bed.
Look, you're sleeping while you're in the bed. We got to get out of here. John and Jim are busting down the door to get in. I'm sure you're going to love the next 4 hours of whatever's coming out of Jim's stupid mouth. But here it comes for you. John and Jim next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.